Yo, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. It's Thursday night, and you know what time it is. It's time to get salty. We have a great panel and an outstanding guest. He's the one and only Mooch. What's going on, man?
What is up, brother? We didn't get our dose of salty versus Mooch yesterday, so this is perfect, man. There's a lot going on. I mean, we've got tons of topics. There's a lot to talk about. And we're going into the hottest month in gaming, February? Who's ever said that before?
Exactly.
So, yeah, apparently February is the new November. So we'll figure this out. But, yeah, let's get into it, guys.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention this, but Punk Kiddish Gaming will be leaving the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. He told me today he's having a baby and he has other life stuff going on. So I just want to give him a special thank you for his time on the podcast. He was here for over a year. So I appreciate him a lot. I'm not sure if he's in the chat or not. Next up, we got Noof Nukem. What's going on, man?
Boom, boom, kaboom. It's Noof in the damn room. That is right. We got Mooch. We got Salt. We got fucking Titan Drago. We got Nintendo Direct. So we loaded up in here. We ready to go.
Yes, sir.
I'm ready to go. Topics are packed. They are packed. I am jacked. I'm ready to go. Can't you fucking tell? I'm already hyper. I'm stupid. You know, all of you, Bob. Let's
I'm
roll.
already hyper.
I'm talking about, dude. He's got the energy. He's got the explosions. Let's go. Nintendo Direct. What's going on? You just got done beating my ass at Smash right before the
I don't know
podcast,
if I
right?
did that. No,
Yeah.
that was me. That was me. That was all the other tryhards in the stream, bro. They was giving us the work. But
Yep.
either way, it was a good time, and I'm glad to be here, man. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. With Smash, my biggest enemy is jumping off the damn map myself, dude.
Yeah, you do SD a lot, bro.
yeah,
You do
so-
stuff like every time.
I don't know what it is, man. I like to jump off to my own death. I don't want people to kill me. I killed myself, all right? We got Titan Drago, a.k.a. you're the new Goldwaith, whatever the guy's name is. Bobcat.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's spreading around real quick, ain't it?
Yeah.
But you know what? I've listened to my fair share of Crossfire podcasts, and I just got to warn you listeners out there, this may be the loudest podcast you've ever listened to.
That's what I'm talking
Okay,
about.
if you know
That is a
me,
possibility.
if you know me, you know Mooch. And holy smokes, you know, I missed a lot. I missed a lot over this last week, but you know what? There's some excellent topics going on, and I've been working a lot. But you know what? Let's take the volume on this podcast and turn it up. What do you say?
Let's-
Right,
I'm
we're
all in.
We're gonna test your Astro A50s tonight. That's right.
Yeah, so if you have a public service announcement that you want to hear now, you might want to turn the dial down just a tad if you don't want to have hearing aids later on in life. So let's get into the first topic. Mooch, I didn't have a chance to talk to you about this. I really want to get into this just a little bit because we talked about it a lot last week. I just want to get your take on it. The whole thing about Destiny and Activision separation.
Yeah.
Real quick, just get your thoughts on that, and then we'll talk about the possibilities of Destiny being self-published by Bungie. So what do you think of all this situation,
I appreciate
man?
that, buddy.
Yeah.
No, and I'll tell you something. You know, me and you've gone back and forth. We know this whole thing. Everyone expects me to just be rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
One of the first things I tweeted out, and I talked about it a lot last week on the other shows, is that basically I'm a little concerned. And it is better for them. You know, I like the fact that they're an indie developer again. I like that they're up there kind of for grabs again. It's almost like stock that's not bought by anybody again. And now you can have a new publisher come in. But realistically, there's a couple things to be concerned about. Not Destiny 2 wise. Destiny 2 is pretty much all set in stone. Destiny 2, they've already said DLC's coming out. It's all been done. It's all done already. So now it's just releasing, maybe polished, a little this and that. I'm a little concerned moving forward. Activision did things. Everyone likes to pile on Activision and EA for everything. You got to sometimes sit there and understand that Activision was giving them something that was truly a lot of funds in marketing. Okay, but let's take that aside for a minute. They had two other companies, one of them being Vicarious Visions, and then there was another one, Team something or another, something like that. I can't remember. I never remember the other one. Vicarious Vision just makes more of the news because they also assisted and made the Crash games and such that have been remade in the past year or so. These are attributes and employees and marketing and advice and structure that you get from a mega publisher like Activision. And when you just pull out that quickly away from them and they had their reasons. I'm just saying that I can't do, the media, the gaming media has you believe that this was the way to go. This was the only answer. This is what you're supposed to do. The problem about that, Salt, when it comes down to it, is that this is a lot of missing resources moving into Destiny 3. So when we were going back and forth, Salt, you might have heard on Crossfire or on MNC, Kraft's first thing was he was saying to me something along the lines of, he's like, well, now Destiny doesn't have to have a timetable. Well, that's true. But let's not forget, we got a lot of people that want to play Destiny 3, okay?
Yeah.
So here's your timetable. Mooch! I'm your timetable. I don't want to wait now because you've lost all those resources. So what I'm saying is this, and I want to hear what the rest of the panel has to think, is I'm very happy that they have their independence, but they've been with, okay? And listen, I don't know Bungie from infancy till now, okay? But I've read enough. They were with Apple for a certain period of time. Then they went to Microsoft. Then they went to Activision. My point being is this is a company that's very talented, but they've always had tremendous support. They've always had tremendous backing by a major company. Now they're alone. So does that mean they're going to stay alone? I don't think so. I think they need all that capital that they're going to be missing. So who's the next publisher? And everybody was having fun the first week. Oh, they're going back to Microsoft. Listen, I don't think that's a bad idea because the Microsoft that they wanted to divorce and leave it's definitely not the same Microsoft that's up there right now, lighting candles as we speak.
That's for sure.
Okay? So it's not the same company. So they may want to rekindle things. They may not. I'm not saying that because I'm a Microsoft fan. I'm not saying that because I'm a Bungie fan. I'm saying just as a business standpoint, if I was one of the guys at the CEO table for Bungie, I wouldn't mind the phone ringing from Redmond. I definitely pick it up and have a conversation. So to answer your question in short here, Salt, I think it's great for them. I think they knew what they were doing. However, I can't sit here and tell you it's all roses and sunshine because losing all the things that Activision did provide, somebody's got to make up that negative. And who that is, we don't know yet. And that's yet to be seen. And yes, Destiny 3 will be affected by that.
It's a great point, and that's why I asked you specifically, because it's good to see on that other side of the coin, it's not all roses, It's not all 100-0. It's not like Activision was pulling all the strings and Bungie had nothing to do with some of the shenanigans that were going on behind the scene. It's just an interesting scenario to have a player like Bungie get into the game when it comes to the indie scene, like self-publishing potentially. We'll have other people jump in if you want to. Do you think that Bungie will be successful at this whole self-publishing thing, or do you think Go ahead, Titan.
Real quick, you had a lot of good points there, Mooch. Mm-hmm. But now I'm piling on the hate, okay? I'm flipping the coin back. Heads, I win. Tails, you lose. I'm piling on the deserved EA hate. And listen, hear me out. Like, there was that pic earlier.
Activision.
Salty that you sent in the chat about the games released, the Star Wars games released in 6 years under EA versus the Star Wars games in 6 years when they weren't under the EA umbrella. That's horrible. And for me, this whole situation, it's more rah-rah for me because if they fail, Microsoft is going to be a safety net, which is a win. It's going to be a win for everybody if they fail. So let them try. Let them do what they got to do. This is the way I feel that this needs to go. Just let them try. Let them see if they're big boys. And if they are big boys, we'll see. And that's good. They've grown up. Let's see it.
That's right. Anybody?
Yeah, I agree
Go ahead, Nick. What do you think, man?
We had talks, and I want to see them try this independently. I really do. I want to see them try to do it on their own, see what they can do. If they struggle and they can't make times and they can't make their schedule and they start to struggle, then go back to Microsoft. That's who I want to see them go with. But give it a shot first by themselves. That's the way I feel about it anyway.
And you know what? This is a safety net that I cannot believe that they're just not jumping into now. They must really want to be independent.
Yeah.
I mean, the last, we've already said Apple, Microsoft, Activision, that's a good almost 20 years of being under somebody. Like, they kind of want to be on their own for a minute. I mean, I don't blame them.
They want to date,
on the shots.
They want to be promiscuous, They want to just go around, have fun, not be tied down in a relationship. Just let them have that.
Take them back to my Navy days, okay?
Let me ask Nick a question, because Nick, I like your point. My question for you is, and this is as a Destiny fan. Listen, as a Destiny fan, I feel like I'm always on the defense. right? I mean, I don't know if you play Destiny, but if you like Destiny,
Oh, trust me, yeah.
right, you're on the defense all the time. Even
You're
people
an
that like
Xbox fan too.
Well, then you really believe me.
Yeah.
We've all been promoted to defense lawyer since 2013.
Right.
But I mean, realistically, what I'm saying here is that I like what Nick's saying. My only question and concern is if we give them that chance and they do falter, you're going to lose even the faithful. And it's hard enough. Right now, we can't get other hardcore gamers that don't like Destiny to join us. Trust me, we all have tried.
It's true.
But, right, if we start losing some of the faithful because they wanted to do this on their own, I just think it puts Destiny 3 in a critical care situation. And that concerns me. And don't get me wrong. I'm not discouraging it. I'm not. I'm just saying, since this company really has never walked without the assistance of anybody else holding them up, now they're doing it alone this far along. Don't get me wrong. They've learned a lot. But you see, Nick, that's where I'm like, I'm not necessarily as excited as the gaming, the gaming media is just like, oh, terrible, big companies, awful, terrible. Big companies employ people. It's like, I know they're not sainthood, they're not. But it's like, my God, what are we doing here? So that's my only thing, Nick. So as a fan, I just want Destiny 3 to be better. And this is a concern to me when we're taking some of the resources out.
That's true. That's a fair point. I can't disagree with that. I'm just saying, like, if they want to do it on their own, go ahead. I'll still back them up as a fan.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm still backing them up as a fan. If Destiny 3 comes out and they're on their own, they're really putting in their effort, and there's no BS that's been happening the last 5 years of this game, then I'm all in.
The thing is, for me, don't you think that they've jotted their plan down on paper a few times in pencil and made a few erases?
Did they make the erasers, or did Activision make the erasers?
I'm sure they did. It's their plan. They want to go. I'm talking about, they want to go independent, so I'm sure they've worked out.
I thought you meant through the history of the game. I'm like, no. Now probably they probably
look, I'm just going to weigh in with a real quick
point.
Go ahead and say that I'm happy that that Bungie has the balls to step up and break away from this relationship. Because look, at the end of the day, I'm sure they were getting some pretty good coin to be underneath the umbrella of someone like Activision. But at the same time, like I said, it took some big balls to break up and move along, and then also take the property out from underneath them too, which is a huge win for them, not so much for Activision, because the property definitely holds weight. Whether you love it or you hate it, there is a lot of Destiny lovers out there. I haven't seen so much grinding since I watched porn in my 13-year-old days. But look, at the end of the day, and you know what? If there is a publisher out there that would make sense, I think for Bungie, I mean, obviously Microsoft's the first one that screams at everybody, but who needs a good multiplayer in their portfolio who doesn't really have one and could use them? No, I would go with, Square Enix. Square Enix doesn't have a lot of big hitters outside of Final Fantasy and things like that. So I think they would be a perfect match for them. But at the same time, to go over back to Microsoft, I mean, that could happen because lots changed at Microsoft. The relationship and the way the company is being run now is far different from the Microsoft, or at least we think it is, than it was, when Bungie was kind of on sour ears. And of course, Bungie was forced into a corner. Hey, you're going to make Halo. And what's your next game? You're going to make Halo. And what's the next one? You're going to make Halo. I can understand that they were just getting tired of the same old hat and they wanted to branch out. Mind you, Destiny is kind of Halo repackaged, but at the end of the day, you know what? They got tired. They got tired of their reputation being dragged through the mud. They earned a big one for Halo. And then it was like every time something happened with them, it seemed like the finger was pointed at Bungie. Like, oh, Bungie is dragging this franchise down. Bungie don't know what they're doing. They can't make a good game anymore. Their game, you know what I mean? There was so much controversy around the Destiny franchise right from the get-go, and it just followed them right over. So I'm happy for them. I think they're breathing a sigh of relief, as some people say. What was it, the rumors, or at least somebody said they were cracking open champagne bottles?
Oh, yeah, baby.
Generally, you think you'd be cracking one open when you're getting acquired by Activision, not when you're leaving them. So that's kind of weird, right? But you know what they say, as Willie Nelson said, you know why divorces are so expensive? Because they're worth it. There you go.
Oh, wow.
All right, well, let's move on to the next topic, because we talked about Destiny a lot last week. I just wanted to get Mooch's take. He's a big Destiny dude. I love to hear his take there. So let's move on, man. This is a story, because I was dropping lots of stories in the DM. Mooch was seeing that. So this is an interesting story that I got just recently. Netflix, surprisingly enough, guess who they say is the #1 competitor against their streaming service. Because if you guys didn't know, Netflix just raised their prices, which is kind of pissing some people off. And then I got this story. Nick, talked about it. And I think Smash JT did a video about it. But what they're saying to their investors, their biggest competitors in the U.S. is for streaming services is Fortnite. In the U.S., we earn about 10% of television screen time and less than that of mobile screen time. We compete with and lose to Fortnite more than HBO. So interesting, right?
Wow.
So this is crazy, man. I think this points to a couple of different things. It shows how strong gaming is, and it shows how crazy of a phenomenon Fortnite is. So let's jump into this real quick. I think it's an interesting topic. What do you guys think of this Netflix situation and how they're worrying about Fortnite, a video game?
A lot of little kids watching Netflix. That's what I think. I think a lot of young kids watch Netflix, and when they're not watching Netflix, they're playing Fortnite. That's what I think it is.
Well, you know what it is too, though, Nick. And I'm going to give you the mic right back. I've been doing a little bit of homework over the past couple of weeks because we've all got Mixer and we all have Twitch, right? But how many people actually take a few hours, right, and take a look at what's going on? I actually took some time and went on Twitch. I don't know if any of you guys follow me on Xbox, but I actually went on Twitch for about, like I said, the past 2 weeks. I mean, I was doing this for just kind of like some of the research I was doing. And then Salt pulled this topic up. I'm like, wow, I actually have something to say about this. Like, I watched Ninja on Twitch for about a half an hour. I watched a bunch of different streamers, not just one. He had 52,000 people watching him on a random Wednesday. Nothing happened. No big deal. He played he actually took a bathroom break at one point and lost nobody. I think 100 people showed up. Like, this is how crazy this game is. So, I mean, when you see these stats, Salt, this is something that's staggering. And when you have Netflix saying that, I mean, this is why you're seeing this game have so much like power, and it is something people like to watch this competitive play. So, I mean, I wanted to I have more to say, but Nick, I'll give the mic back to you. You had a good point coming.
I was saying, like, a lot of young kids watch Netflix and a lot of young kids play Fortnite. And so, I mean, it just kind of makes sense. And then he brought up the even bigger fact, Twitch. Like, if they're not going to watch Netflix, they're going to take a break and watch Twitch and watch Ninja play or their other favorite streamers play. This game is just a huge phenomenon. And my brain just can't fathom it. I don't understand it. Like, to me, I'm gonna sound like the old guy here, but I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
So wait, Nick,
oh my god.
So it's Fortnite or the watching of Fortnite on streaming?
I think
Which
it's
one's
all
got you more
above,
puzzled?
dude. I think it's all the game, the popularity of the game got me puzzled. But the watching of Fortnite makes sense, if they're bored or they're playing the game, or maybe they're trying to stream snipe the person they're watching, or just yada yada yada. There's a bunch of things, the factors can go into watching it, but the game by itself, like it's I don't get it. I don't get the craze of it. It's just nuts to me.
The only thing I can think of is Battle Royale is the new team deathmatch. So let's just put things in perspective. Right now, here's the other thing that I've asked a lot of people that I know that play the game and love the game and stream the game. When I talk to them, the first thing they say, Mooch, the one thing that you don't get is the biggest thing people say they hate about it is its biggest accomplishment, and that is the building. And what I mean by that is it takes the element of just aiming down sights or throwing a grenade, and it adds this element of like surprise, because all of a sudden, Nick, if you're the craziest first-person, third-person shooter out there in gaming, but I can build a wall faster than the Three Little Pigs. I got news for you. That's entertaining to people. They like to watch this thing build, and they like to watch things crash down. And that's what this game gives you. It gives you instant satisfaction with the gunplay, but then you've got the build up and break it down. And then they've thrown in these fun things that are going on. And it's for the first time in all of our lives, whether you're a kid all the way up to adult gaming, it's the first time a cartoony looking, pleasant looking, non-blood driven game is that entertaining. Now, listen, I dabble in Fortnite. I'm not good. I got to say, though, and Salt knows this. I've been podcasting him for long enough. He's heard me say it. I don't mind Fortnite. I like it. Salt, I think you do too.
Yep.
I like it. I do. Do I love it? No. But I like it. And I'll tell you right now, it's very appealing to at least a huge percentage, well over 50%. in each demographic. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why we've got this. That's why you have Netflix, not quivering or being, they're not concerned. But that's where I think you're seeing this. You take all of these things we just all mentioned, you put it together, man, it is just a massive, massive plan of success. That's what I'm seeing from afar.
Yep.
I've been student teaching real quick for 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
And these kids, they raise their hand. Hey, Johnny, what do you got? Oh, it's 5. Yeah, that's right. These kids get an answer correct. And what do? They break out into a Fortnite dance without fail. It's every time.
Yes.
Every time. These elementary kids, they watch and play this game religiously. I have seen it with my own eyes. What do you guys
true.
think?
True.
I mean, there's a video out there. It's the weirdest thing, man. These kids, they're like, "Who likes Fortnite?" And they're like, "We like Fortnite. We like Fortnite." And they all like start. It's 20 kids, and they're all doing Fortnite dances. And there's like there's memes made off of it. Like an alien comes from a different world. They're like, "So, what does this planet look like?" And they're like, "We like Fortnite. We like Fortnite." They're like, "All right, let's get the hell out of here." You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, I don't get it, but it's your money and your time, right? You know what I mean? Like,
here comes the old noof, man. The old
Old Nick Q,
Get off my lawn!
Hit him with the cleanest, dog.
Still shitting out my lawn, dog. Get the hell out of here, son. Come on. But it is what it is. I haven't seen a phenomenon this big since Minecraft kind of came into fruition and took over. And Minecraft is still rolling along pretty strong too. But right now, there's no wacky dances in Minecraft. You know what I mean? But for me, Fortnite is about as appealing to me as fucking shaving my ass crack with a rusty razor. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't happening, man. So I'm going to keep passing up on that boat. But hey, I ain't dissing anyone that likes it or plays it. Again, that's kind of stupid. It's your choice and stuff like that. But oh my Lord, man. But I still don't get it. But hey, it is what it is, right? I'm sure people don't get some of the games that I play, but to each their own, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Noof, the thing about it is this. One of the questions I ask myself personally, if you said to me, would you rather play Fortnite or play Blackout? I'd rather play Blackout. But
I'm sure.
But here's my thing, though. But that's where that element comes into the building again. The first thing I hear all the time from people that are more into Fortnite, they're like, I like the building. The number one reason I hear people that don't want to play Fortnite is they don't like the building. So that's what I find, right? It's the building that's the aspect it's the strongest link in the chain, and it's also the Achilles heel for certain people. And I think realistically, listen, you guys on the panel have been gaming for ages. Let me ask you guys a question. If you were to just take your Xbox One X controller, okay? Take your controller and hand it to somebody who's not a gamer, and you just hand them the controller and let them hold it, watch their face, record them. It looks like the plane's going down in a 747 and they gotta land it. They have no idea. They're like, you want me to? What are you doing? And everybody freaks the fuck out, right?
And they look up at the screen and they look down at the controller and press a button.
Yeah, it's like you're asking somebody to give CPR. They have no idea what's going on. So my point being is I think a lot of people at Fortnite, they look at the fast, twitchy building aspect and they get freaked out. Realistically, you can build on the fly really quick in the game. And let me tell you, if you played the game for a week, if anybody who goes, I like the game, but I don't like the building, play the game for a week. That doesn't mean 24 hours, 7 days. I mean, whatever you game, just play that game for 7 days. Try it out. If it's an hour a day, it's an hour a day. It's an hour and a half. You will find by 7 days of playing the game at your own pace, the building becomes quite simple and quite familiar. It's not many buttons. It's not that difficult. Right? So I think, Salt, this is what I'm saying, because Salt, you play the game. So when I say to people, because I play it with the kids, we have fun. It's a family thing. We all kind of hang out. Yeah. It's definitely a great time. We make it a family thing because the kids like it. I dig it. It's cool. But it's not my game. It's not my go-to game.
Well, you know what? At least with Fortnite, at least the fucking kids that play it can actually finish a game before the textures are actually loaded in on PUBG.
There it is.
There we go. I love that PUBG dig there. It's a perfect segue, though. Let's talk about Call of Duty Blackout. I'm going free to play this weekend, and let me tell you, this isn't just by happenstance, all right, folks? This is calculated by Activision. They're putting Red red dots in that cost $1, folks. They know how to screw up games, and they're trying to do it with this one. Mooch, we like Blackout, right?
Yes.
Call of Duty Black Ops 4,
Absolutely.
but it was only a matter of time before they wanted to make this free to play to get more consumers in there and monetize the hell out of this. They're trying to do the same model as Fortnite. Fortnite is the model. They made $2.4 billion with a B. That's a B, folks, in 1 year, one fiscal year in 2018. So why wouldn't you want to copy that model? So I could see little things and little signs that Activision was doing. They're like, all right, let's put this season of emotes and all this other shit in there, but it's going to be free. It's like a drug dealer giving out free samples, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, hey, we'll make it free to play, and then we'll charge for those season passes. So what do you guys think of this free weekend leading into eventual free to play action? Do you think it's screwing over the consumer base that paid $60 for the game, or did they get their money's worth already? Just hop in. Let's go with our guest, Mooch.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, what you're saying is that's the free-to-play model, right?
Yeah.
So since the game is not free-to-play typically, however, it has been on sale for $29.99 like 3 times in the past 4 weeks.
Yeah.
What they're doing is they're rolling the dice, Salt. You're 100% right. Myself personally, listen, I own it on Xbox. That'll be always my go-to place to play it. I already have it downloaded because I had the beta code. I'll download it though, or whatever. I'll access it on PlayStation. There's a lot of people I know that only play on PlayStation, and they've always said, "Hey, Mooch, if you get it, let us know. We'll jam out." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." So I'm cool to try it for that. Here's my thing, guys. You have to remember something, okay? I am a self-proclaimed Mooch. I am not going to buy a 99-cent dot. That's not going to happen. Maybe it's just something I've trained myself over the 20-something years. I'm just not going to do it. But there are people that dig it. And listen, here's my thing. I had a friend of mine that only played Destiny, okay? Knew him personally. He played it religiously. He didn't own any other. We all sit here and everybody takes snapshots, puts them all over Twitter. I got 400 games. I got 300 games. I got 157 games. He has 3. Okay? He has 3, and he's proud of it. He goes, I play Destiny. So we were playing one night, and he went and bought a $10 emote thing. And everybody was like, holy shit. Nobody knew it was what the monetary value was. But they knew you had to buy it. And he goes, listen. He goes, can I ask you a question? To the other guy who was commenting on him. And he goes, yeah. He goes, how many games do you have? He goes, I don't know, like 65, 70. He goes, I only play Destiny. So if I want to spend an extra $10 on something that I love in the game that I love, you got to leave me alone. And you know what? Probably the best argument I ever heard. This guy plays one game. He puts 1,200 hours into Destiny. Guess what? Buy the $10 emote. Knock yourself out. So what I'm saying to you, Salt, is, yes, you've got everybody that just gets bored in the game, just kind of giving money, this 99 cents here. That's what they want you to do. But then there's just people who are not like, and it's funny because if you do the YouTube thing long enough, and if you're on Twitter long enough, you do the whole thing, you kind of get surrounded by the hardcore crowd. And the hardcore crowd always buys, not all the games. Not everybody's bombastic, okay? But, all right, but a lot of people buy a lot of games because that's what we like to do as a pastime. And now we comment it, we do videos. But if you talk to people that love the game, but they're not necessarily quote-unquote hardcore because they don't buy, they buy 2-3 games a year, but they play the shit out of them. So for those folks that are out there that we call the casuals, the hardcore calls them the casuals. I still think they're hardcore. If you buy Madden, Destiny, and Call of Duty, but you're still logging in 1,000 hours a year, guess what? I still have you as a hardcore. But my point being is that those folks are typically classified as casuals. And if they're spending anywhere from 99 cents to $10, and that's low, there's these other people out there, the whales, that are spending thousands of dollars. Okay?
Whales.
Right? That's what they call them. So the whales are out there, and they're spending tons of cash. This is what they want. So, Salt, I do think it is what you're saying. It's kind of luring the kid into the candy shop by having it for free. And that was what Epic wanted from day one. They still have beta on Fortnite. Are you kidding me? What the hell's a beta about it except the fact that you're dropping a battle pass every 90 days?
It's just interesting because you could see these trends. I talk about trends all the time. I talk about analytics and all this stuff, and Activision just loves to monetize everything. They would monetize their own mom if they could, right? So that sounded wrong, but yeah, I mean, microtransactions,
mom,
they would do it. They love to screw over the community, and I don't know. I just think there's going to be some blowback. They'll probably try to do it, ease it in like a gentleman, and just kind of, they'll probably just try to hopefully.
This whole week-long thing is the lube, dog.
They just hope that people are going to be like, okay, I forgot I paid $60 for this game. Okay, it's free. I mean, I've been playing it for, how long has it been out now? Like 5 months, 6 months now? 5 months,
October?
6, 7.
Yeah, really did. Somebody mentioned MILFs in here.
3 months, 4 months.
So anybody else have any thoughts on this whole Activision
I mean, I'll play it.
blackout thing? You're going to play it?
I'll play the crap out of it for a week. Yeah, man.
Okay.
I just didn't want to give Activision my money. Real talk. That's just how I was. I wasn't about to give them $60 of my money. I don't like Activision. They really hacked me off. And so yeah, but now that this is going to be free for the battle royale mode, yeah, I'll download it and play it. And if they make it free in the future, I'll play it some more.
So they're doing their job. This is like the stuff.
I mean, they are doing their job. They are doing their job. Now I can see why people were mad who bought it in October, and you were on it, and you're like, oh my gosh, now it's free to play. What was my $60 for? I could have waited. I see why you're mad, but yeah, man. But what I'm finding interesting about this is now the ball's in the EA's court. What are they going to do with their Battlefield Royale that they're supposed to be coming out with sometime this year? I don't know when they're going to come out with it, but are they going to make that free as well, or what are they going to do with that? It's very interesting to see how this trend's going to go.
Nick, let me answer your question as I pop my collar up. It's a never was.
It's a never was.
Don't even worry about Battlefield 5 Battle Royale. You can go ahead. Listen, it's as exciting for gamers today as it is the day it comes out. We're not even playing it. It don't matter.
So
here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Saul. No, go, Saul.
So you're saying it's going to be free to play then? No.
Absolutely. It's going to be free to play. They're going to come to your house and install it, actually.
They'll pay you to play it.
Yes. Are you kidding me? Listen, Battlefield 5's a nightmare. God bless people that love the game. I know you guys have got a resurgence on the show to see you guys playing it and stuff, and that's awesome. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of fun when you're with a lot of friends and you believe in God. Listen, here's the thing, right? There's no way that game it's got so many, and listen, it's not buggy. It's got no issues like that. Myself personally, I like something called a fighting chance. And in that game, you don't have one.
Man. You should have heard me when I was playing it with Salty and Noof. Yep. I picked it up and I was like, play Battlefield 5. They said it will be fun. They said.
Get sniped out of spawn, they said.
That's so funny. You guys got to talk about that. It's crazy, right? Because I saw you were having a good time. Now, don't get me wrong, right?
Yeah. Not my problem. You suck like a leaf blower.
No, it's not about suck. Hey guys, here's a strategic plan. Let's get over by that third big rock. All right, we're dead. You don't even have a chance. You got killed by a grain of salt 70 miles away.
All right, so the battle royale game mode going free to play on COD or whatever eventually, right? And it's got the new game mode, which seems really cool. Gives your dead teammates died that scrubbed out early in the game a reason to keep watching you play, right? So to me, they're doing this to really stay ahead of the game because I'm still sticking to my guns. Like Moose said, Battlefield, Firestorm, it's going to be free to play when it comes out. I'm still sticking to my guns on that.
I agree.
I mean, a lot of people disagree with me, but I'm sticking to my guns on that, and I think this is why they're just staying one step ahead of the game with this.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but like
special message.
What's up?
Don't do it. Don't take the blame down here. And if you're going to do it, then I'm going to come to your house with the Terminator, and I'm going to fucking fuck you up. And that's what they're going to do. All right, stay away. Stop eating the worm. The dangling for you. Activision does it all the time. They're going terrible.
Awesome, dude. Your Arnold impression is second to none, man. With 9mm bullets on it. There's a skit on that, man.
No, so when COD goes free to play, you're not gonna download it for free?
No, and then downloading anything.
He's like, I'm stubborn. Get to the chopper.
just gave me an aneurysm. I'm having one right now.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the next topic.
Man.
Upcoming Sea of Thieves update will reduce game install sizes. I just want to glance over this real quick. Apparently, it's going to reduce the file sizes more than half. For the Xbox One, it's going from 10 gigs to 35 gigs to 10 gigs, 47 to 25 on the Xbox One X, and then Windows 10 PC, it's going 47 to 27. I'm not focusing so much on Sea of Thieves specifically as it is the topic, but do you see this as a future trend with these digital games? Because what is it? Gears of War on my Xbox One X is like 120 gigs. I mean, we're gonna have portable hard drives as big as my tower and my PC right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Like when I saw this story, I was excited about it because hopefully they can do this on other games and lower the file sizes. The only downside is that we're gonna have to re-download the game. What do you guys think about this whole Sea of Thieves and reducing file size situation? It's kind of a weird topic, but
are they gearing it up to like come to the Nintendo Switch or something? Why are they doing it?
Why are they doing it? I don't know.
I found that news odd myself. Like, that's cool. I'm not gonna reinstall it until I need the space for it, but I think it's pretty cool. Okay. It's just interesting. But hopefully they make this trend continue with future games because my hard drive is getting a little full. Yeah. It's getting a little full and I need some space.
So what you're saying is move on to the next topic? No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I'd love to hear more information on how they're doing this. Right.
Yeah.
What is it they're cleaning up? What is it you're taking out?
They just got rid of some of the seaweed on the bottom. That's all.
The power of the cloud.
There wasn't much there to begin.
What's the power of the cloud?
The power of the cloud.
I don't know. I'll tell you something, Salt. Like it is questionable, right? Because
it's curious.
I think your point you made a second ago was a big one, and that is that Gears is so many gigs. And you're like, why couldn't that have been reduced by this point? So it's like, what is it? So do they have a lot of preventive type of code in there before that they've cleaned up that they can get out of? What is
preventative to what? Hackers? No, they failed on that early.
Right, exactly. And that's my point, Titan. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
It's like they gotta be taking something out. Which is crazy to say, I know.
They're taking something out of Sea of Thieves. What?
How are they doing it?
The water won't be as realistic.
There's much in there to begin with in the Sea of Thieves.
If you want,
all the enemies are boners.
If they called me, they could have got rid of those snakes. I could deal without those things.
Oh my god,
they blind you and shit.
What an annoying shit that is. That's almost like the squid in Mario Kart, for God's sake.
Right.
It's like, get off the screen so I can play.
So anyway, that was the topic. We'll move on from that. That was a topic.
You gave your audience a bathroom break for the replay.
Yeah. So let's talk about Star Wars because I didn't get the chance to talk to you guys. I love Star Wars. I know Nick loves it. Let's talk about EA. And I think it was Yobi Dren that was saying Activision's the devil and EA's Satan or something like that. But so it's interesting. Crap Gamer put out this picture of all the Star Wars games over a 6-year period under LucasArts. And there's like, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like over 20 games, right? Really good games like Knights of the Old Republic, Battlefront when it used to be good, The Force Unleashed, Jedi Knight Academy, Jedi Academy. It just tons and tons of good games. Lego Star Wars, it goes on, right? And then it says under EA 2013 to 2019 got 2 Battlefront games that sucked. You know what I'm saying? So we get this news that comes out. They're canceling yet another Star Wars game, the open world game by EA Vancouver, I believe. And it's just another EA run Star Wars games that got canned. So I'm just gonna get your guys' take on this. Should EA just give up the license, which they won't? And should Disney go ahead.
Strong with the dark side, they are. Yes, EA strong with the dark side.
Awesome. So, Noof, what do you think of the Star Wars situation, man?
Well, it is pretty sad when you look at it. You look at all those games that came before it in a short period of time. So now, not all those Star Wars games are good, but you're going to get a few hits when you have lots of games to go to. And the fact that we pretty much had a copy and paste version of Battlefront with a little bit more to it, and a lot of controversy surrounding. I mean, they're pretty good games as they are. I mean, I actually enjoy them. I never really got caught up in the whole hoopla about the microtransactions and blah blah blah. Like a lot of people, I mean, they're pretty solid. At least the second game actually had a campaign. The first one had some pretty cool co-op online too. So I didn't think they were bad. I think they felt a little bit rushed overall. I mean, the first one was trying to coincide with I think it was Star Wars Episode 7, the launch of that movie. And I think they were trying to get it out in time so they could capitalize on the popularity. And the second one, I don't know if it came out around the movie or not, but it is sad. They've shut down a lot of studios. They canned a lot of projects. I know it was Amy Hennig was working on one there for a while. And people were excited about that with her repertoire and her portfolio to see what she might bring to the table for the franchise. So I don't know what the hell is going on, but EA is not doing a good service for the Star Wars franchise. And it's I'm shocked that Disney is let them hold the whole bloody thing. You know what I mean? The whole kit and caboodle is in their pocket.
Right. Well, this is the one that she was working on. Remember through Visceral? Like this is the one that she was working on before they closed Visceral, and then they gave it to EA Vancouver to make it this new open world multiplayer Destiny type Star Wars game, because that was their exact wording. And of course, come to find out, EA Vancouver couldn't do it. They can't get it done. So what they do, they had to can it. And this is just, it's not good, man. It's really not. And this just goes to show they should have never canned the first idea in the first place. They should have never canned Visceral. They should never got mad. It just goes to show that EA only cares about two things, and that is saving money and making money. Like, the less money that they can spend on making a game, and then they can force microtransactions down our throat. That's what they're here for. And so, yeah, this is just disappointing. And the fact that they are now in charge of a game and franchises that we love, like we love Star Wars, like me and you, Salty, we've talked about, like, we absolutely love Star Wars, and then any game that's came out we've played, and now they're going to use that against us and sort of kind of hold that carrot in front of our nose, and hopefully that we take a bite out of it because we're big Star Wars fans. Like, that just doesn't fly for me. It doesn't feel right. I wish they could get rid of the license, but they won't. And it's just unfortunate, dude. It really is.
You know what it is, Nick? And I'm not as big of a Star Wars fan. I won't pretend to be as you and Salty. But, the thing about it is this kind of ties into our original subject of when Bungie leaving Activision and not just cheering because there are repercussions. When everybody was so excited that Disney picked up Star Wars, there was one guy who wasn't. That was me. LucasArts, here's the thing. When you had George Lucas involved, he was the originator. He was the creator. He was the mind, the soul, the body behind that genre. And when you take that out and then you put Disney in, which is just a corporation right now, okay? It's not like Walt is still alive. They're not the same company they used to be. They're pumping Star Wars out, okay? There's a Star Wars toilet paper. It's everywhere. So my point being is that, like, the last game that I truly, truly said that I enjoyed, and guys, I'm dating myself a bit here, was Super Star Wars on the SNES.
Oh, shit.
I mean, that was a great Star Wars game, period. I don't care if you guys, listen, and don't go, oh, Mooch, you're old. No. You guys are all loving the retro channels, okay? You're all buying the little retro boxes that are out there for $99.99. You go out there and try this game on SNES. That was a fun game to play as a Star Wars fan because it went through the different depictions of the different stories through 4, 5, and 6, and it really got you involved with the characters. You played as Han, you played as Luke, you played as this, you played as that. You had the lightsaber for some of it, you had a shooter for another. My point being is that when they all of a sudden, now you have Disney watching what EA does. And my point being here is that Disney they don't have the heart. You know what I mean? When Luke, that's why that picture from Crap that you're talking about, Saul, holds a lot of weight with you and Nick because you guys are big Star Wars. And I'm not even that big of a Star Wars fan. I've appreciated them. I've seen them all a million times, but I'm not that big into the universe as everybody else is that speaks. So I won't pretend to be. But when it comes down to it, that's why the Disney taking over Star Wars, I was not as excited because now, listen, we got Star Wars almost once a decade as a kid, right? And I see Jay Fonz in the chat. Fonz knows what I'm talking about. We had to wait 8 years or 10 years between movies. Now they're coming out like every 18 months, okay? They're coming before the Olympics come out. This is ridiculous. You can count on Star Wars more than you can count on Torino getting the next Winter Olympics. Yeah. It's crazy. So realistically, they're just pumping this stuff out now. That's why people weren't happy with the last Star Wars. Is because it's now become a money machine because they know that they can print this on, like I say, toilet paper, paper plates, flags. They got it everywhere. So my point being is that that's why you're seeing this lack of love for Star Wars. The fans are out there, but now you got corporate America. You go ask the people at Disney that make the call on Star Wars what they really thought about, episode 4 or episode 5. You know what they're going to say? Which one was that? Was that the one with Ewan McGregor? I get them all confused. Get the hell out of here. They don't know what they're talking about. That's the problem when you go corporate.
Yeah, so I think the biggest problem here is that the license is handed over to one big company like EA. And I was saying this with the sports games. I think 2K just re-upped their contract with the National Basketball Association. So 2K is going to have the NBA games on lock for the next 8 years, multi-billion-dollar deal going down there. EA owns the rights to FIFA, Madden. It's just, you got these franchises that are just monopolized by one company, and it's not good for gaming, man. Like, what happened to competitiveness and not monopolizing these IPs, man?
Suckers you are, by shit you will. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, man. It's just, it's unfortunate, man. You guys get what I'm saying, though? Like, this whole monopolization of licenses. Yeah.
The only thing is for me, Star Wars was just dead in the water. George Lucas was just laying on it and getting fatter over time, basically. So, I mean, and I don't expect anyone else to pick up where he left off. And I do think there should be, we should realize there should be there's going to be a transitional period. I think we're seeing that with the first 2 movies and, how subpar they were to most people. But have you guys read the report of why they shut down the open world game? It was essentially, it came down to, they didn't think people were going to come back and spend more money on it. They want, they want this long-term thing that this game's going to keep earning them money over time.
I don't want to hear that. Dude,
it's true.
This is crazy.
I thought Jabba the Hutt was having an aneurysm.
This is ridiculous, dude. Like, come on, man. Like, stop with this. Oh, people want to come back and spend more money on it. Like, dog.
Okay, yes,
dude.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
No, man, I'm just tired of hearing that. Like, that's all we've heard from EA for the last year about everything and every game they're trying to make and every what's going to be our next FIFA Ultimate Team? FIFA Ultimate Team made us blah 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 $1 billion last year, so we need to make sure that every game can do that. Not every game is going to be FIFA or Madden. Like, it's just not going to happen. It just doesn't happen that way, especially with Star Wars. Like,
PlayStation and EA will never come in agreements because PlayStation is nothing but one and dones, and EA is just like allergic to them.
He always finds a way to get back to Sony, though. He always finds a way.
Star Wars doesn't need all the gimmicks and tricks to sell. It's Star Wars. It's going to sell. But you know what? EA would do better by just having a really good Star Wars game that would sell way more copies just by being a legitimate title, as opposed to trying to find all the microtransactions and gimmicks and stuff to sell. That's the thing. Like, they go into these boardroom meetings all wrong because before the game even fully gets going, they're like, well, how can we fucking leech these fans? Because we know we're going to get 5 million out the gate. So how can we get more shit from them? You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, and it's sad. It's frustrating.
It's sad.
Really.
Very frustrating.
Let's move on to the next topic. I did dig that salty rant there, Nick. Good shit. Let's talk about PS5 and Xbox Scarlet. According to the Ubisoft CEO, and I'd be hard-pressed to say his name right, he says that the PS5 and the Xbox Scarlet are going to be the last of the cycle of the conventional consoles. What do you guys think of this? Do you think he's right?
Yves
Conventional, right?
Yeah, like
keyword there is conventional. Some crazy will happen, right? But conventional, I think they'll find a way to figure this out. I think Microsoft is going the right way with giving you different tiers of consoles to go with. I think that's the future. I honestly do. I think that whole word conventional there is the key word there. I don't think consoles are done. They're not even close.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
no,
just
and Nick,
go ahead,
here's the thing, Nick. I think you're right though, because here's the thing: we're sitting here saying that PC gaming's on the rise. Okay, PC gaming is hardware, right?
Mhm.
So all of a sudden, everyone's like, "Well, consoles are going to be gone." Well, not necessarily, because to be honest with you, there's a lot of people playing on console. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think maybe the numbers will change, right? So you have 100 million going out of this generation for PlayStation, probably 50 million or something like that going for Xbox at the end. Those numbers might dwindle a little, but that doesn't mean that Sony and Microsoft aren't going to still capitalize one way or another from you. So, yeah, I agree with you. I don't think consoles at the end. I mean, each generation still runs about a 6-year gap, right? It was very unusual in the last generation, the 360 and PS3, that went so long. You can see clearly that they're gonna try to aim for 6 or 7 years. They're not going to go to 9 years anymore. So, I mean, and they have the mid-gen refreshes. So, I mean, even if we're looking at 2020, then 2023 or 2024, we're going to get a mid-gen refresh again. Then you're going to get another one in 2027. So the whole point of the matter is that consoles are definitely not dead. It's just that gaming is now kind of being reshaped, reformed, and resold in different ways. The reason PC gaming is on the rise is not because everybody's buying a $2,100 GTX 2080 Ti, okay? That's not why it's on the rise. The reason it's on the rise is because when you look at when these metrics first came out till today, when you look at the early metrics years ago, not everybody did have a computer in their home. Now everybody has a computer in their home. It doesn't matter what you do. Okay. So of course, people who go, well, I'm not going to go buy a $400 console or a $500 console. They still have a PC in their home and they're going to play games on them. So my point being is, with PC on the rise, personally, I look at it as that's telling me that hardware will continually be sold. Now, the numbers might fluctuate, like I said, because you're going to have Sony and Nintendo and Microsoft all playing their games on PC as well. This whole nonsense with, Microsoft's games are on PC, and that's hurting. It's not, because Sony's going to do it, and Nintendo's doing it. If they're not going to do it, they're going to do it eventually, because the point of the matter is there's money out there. They're not going to be like, we're being traditional, and we're going to sit here and let our boat sink. No, they're not going to do that. So the whole point of the matter is that, yeah, I agree with Nick 100%. The consoles will not die. The numbers might dwindle. That doesn't mean it's unhealthy. It doesn't mean it's unhealthy, because Microsoft's making up those dividends somewhere else. But the console folks are people that are not going to build rigs, okay? They're not going to build rigs. So those folks are always going to be out there. But you have a lot of people like myself. You have a lot of people like Salty, okay? And I can't speak for Nick because I don't know. I don't know if Titan did it. I know Noof didn't, because I know Noof more. But my point being is, half of it, well, we got a few people on here that at least have already built a console, or excuse me, a rig that can play games that we're playing on Xbox and PlayStation. So the more and more that's going to happen over the next 8 years. So that's where I think. So when he says traditional, I think that's the way Nick's really pulled the right word out. It is the traditional way of thinking about console sales. That will change, but console gaming is not over after this next generation.
Mooch, I want to introduce you to my Lenovo Dogshit 2000 PC. Okay,
nice to meet you.
You know what? Anything new comes out, like PCs get really good and their processors go up. People say consoles are going away, and streaming is on the horizon. Like, streaming ain't even here yet, and it's just on the horizon. And people say consoles are going away. Yeah. I'll tell you what. Resources on this earth are finite, okay? Whenever the costs go way up to create a console, because the finite resources to create the chips are slim, that's when consoles will die, okay? Not until then, all right? So just kill this right now.
Nick, you have a gaming PC per se, right? I mean,
yes.
This quote just speaks. It goes both ways, and I think people always try to polarize or go to black and white. Hey, this is gonna die. This has to die for this to rise. That's not necessarily the case, man. People love options. It's just like, you can't just come out as a company and say, hey, we're coming out with this new technology, and if you don't adopt it, tough shit, eat your vegetables. You know, you sound like a parent out there. You know, it's gonna piss people off. You gotta ease them into it. You can't just be like, hey, streaming's the future, and it's going to be the future by this date, or you're not going to have a console to play. Sorry, you know, it's they got to find a fine line in there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was completely against digital games for a long time, and then whenever I found out the beauty of being able to purchase a game in my recliner and hit that button, and oh god, I got the game right here. Oh, who needs to go to the store, man? I don't need a physical copy. So yeah, I mean, you sometimes you gotta get used to it. You know, I used to be that guy, but now I'm like 100% digital. So I know how that goes.
Cool. All right, so we'll move on to the next topic. Death Stranding release date was teased by Troy Baker. He's a voice actor. You guys don't believe it? Come on. All right. So he tweeted this out, and on Twitter they're doing this like 10-year challenge or whatever the hell this stupid shit is. So it's like 2009 versus 2019. He has a picture of him from Final Fantasy. Obviously, it's not him. And then he has this dude with the gold skull mask or whatever this shit is from Death Stranding, and it says 2019 question mark with a hashtag. So this is fueling speculation to the rumors that Death Stranding is definitely coming out in 2019. To further these rumors, Death Stranding was shown off in a private demo, and it impressed Guerrilla Games. So Kojima had a private viewing with the people in Amsterdam, Guerrilla Games, and you know he picked up a DualShock 4 in his hands and played the game. Man, it's coming out in 2019, confirmed, right?
It's too easy. You just alley-ooped that one up, dude. So you tell me they went to Amsterdam and played Death Stranding.
Yep, 2 hours. He had the controllers in his hands.
To Amsterdam,
controllers
so they probably all did a bunch of acid beforehand because they're in Amsterdam and they played this game, and that's why they enjoyed this game. Okay. I'm gonna go there. Okay. Who cares, man?
So what? Troy Baker, he's confirming it's 2019. Come on, right? I mean, 2019 for Death Stranding.
We heard those rumors. I've been like, whenever I've been looking up for the Indians, I've been finding news, and that rumor keeps getting more and more like. It keeps coming out more and more, so I'm pretty sure it's going to come out this year. If it keeps coming out that way, I can see it. But
so you think it's going to come out this year?
I think it's going to come out this year. Yes.
Anybody have any counters to that? Mooch, what do you think of this whole Troy Baker thing, Death Stranding? You think it's coming out this year?
I mean, Troy Baker, he's trying to be Jeff Keighley. I don't know what he's doing. I mean. Don't get me wrong. You can definitely tell that Nolan North and Baker are definitely, Troy Baker. They're in the know with Sony stuff. So it's not to say that they don't know, but since he's so in the know, I also think he wouldn't. He just wouldn't announce something like that. Here's my thing: they're not going to be at E3. PSX they're going to do something in 2019 for PSX. So PSX is usually in December. Unless they bump PSX up to September or something like that. I'm confused on why Sony would not want to have a big Kojima product on stage to show. You know what I mean? Like that's something. I think this game warrants that because it needs to grasp the attention of a lot of people in the audience. I myself have said this, and I'll continue to say it until I see something that turns me off. I'm intrigued. I've never really liked a lot of the Metal Gear Solid stuff, so I'm not a Kojima fan. At all, but this has got something different going on. Listen, we're all going into a new generation, right? The games are changing, things are different. I know we're going to talk about Mortal Kombat later in the show, but even Mortal Kombat has done some significant things to change the game. So I'm intrigued by different games that come out more than I was, say, at the beginning of the generation. So if it came out in 2019, I'd welcome it until I saw something that turned me completely off. The thing about it is I'm also not saying I can't wait. I mean, if they said that this thing's going to be a PS5 launch game, I could also wait because I've seen nothing that really makes me want to run out and spend $64.79 after tax. I don't know. Myself personally, I think it's possible. It's feasible. I'd be shocked, Salt, if we go through the entire 2019 PS4 lineup and we just get Dreams and Days Gone. I think there's going to be some. I thought it was going to be The Last of Us 2 But now I truly believe Last of Us 2 comes out in 2020
Yep.
before the PS5 release. Same thing they did with The Last of Us before the PS4 release. So is it feasible? Yes, I would think that they would want to keep The Last of Us 2 and Ghosts more towards the PS5. So it's not out of the realm, but, Troy Baker, man, he's a talented guy. I'll give him credit where credit's due. But, some of these guys just like to come out and say stuff like Pactor just to get back in the headlines,
Yeah, it's just curious to see some of these things coming out because Kojima was saying that the year 2019 was the year of something, the year of the well or something. He was saying that he was putting hints out there that it's going to drop in 2019 too, but it just doesn't make any sense to me for it to come out in 2019. There's rumors that it's going to be episodic, which I'm totally against that as well.
Yeah, me too.
So it's some weird shit going on. I mean, even the hardest of hardcore fan base on the PlayStation side really don't know what this game is at this point. You never wish a game to do bad, but I'm just not the biggest Kojima fan. I think he would do well in the movie industry if he went over to directing or something like that. So we'll see what happens with this game. What about the rest of the panel? Any thoughts on Death Stranding Titan? Do you think it's coming out in 2019? Does it need to come out in 2019?
All right, well, I thought it was going to come out in 2020, but here's the thing. It really looks like they're just really trying to restart the hype train for this game. Doesn't it seem like that?
It seems like that to me, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, let this game die like the unrealistic baby in the oversized bottle. But that's just me. Is it possible to come out in 2019? Sure, especially if it's an episodic game. I'd almost be let down if it came out to be an episodic game and it didn't come out till 2020. But a late 2019 release, does it make sense to release it in late 2019? Not to me. Sony's crouching down right now, so they're going to have one of their biggest games with the biggest name behind it released during this desert of Sony news, out dried up land of Sony land,
Real
quick.
Okay.
It's so impressive. So let me, he said, the guys played it for 2 hours and it's so impressive. So let me ask you this.
Acid.
Especially if you're a PlayStation fan, okay? What game could you possibly play for 2 hours that would not excite you? Okay? Let's be honest. Take it away.
Kojima himself picked up a DualShock. That was like, I feel like they wanted to highlight that shit in this article. I'm like, so what's the surprise here? He's making the game, dude.
I made the game. I'm going to play my own game, guys. I hope so.
Titan Drago has a point, considering how much hype and stuff went around that stupid ass game Journey, where this funky little character with the cape went fucking floating around a desert. What the hell, man? This game is like the best ever. You know what I mean? I don't know. Look, the game looks kind of interesting, weird, cool. I don't know. This game is like a smorgasbord of feelings all rolled up into one. You know what I mean? But I want to give it a try. I mean, it looks cool from a graphic standpoint and aesthetically and stuff, and it definitely has me intrigued. Even though I have no idea how to sum it up or explain it, and nobody else seems to know either. But I definitely think one thing, it will probably drop and come out before The Last of Us 2. That much I'm almost certain of. It'll be open for The Last of Us 2 gets here. And I just hope they don't go the episodic route, because if they do, count me out. If I do go to buy the game at all, I'll wait till I get the full package and not the bit-by-bit entree level shit, because I can't stand that. It just drives me nuts. So, we'll just have to see what happens at this point. But right now, it's Norman Reedus and his traveling fetus. Norman Reedus, here we go.
And you know what's weird? You know what's weird about those episodic games? You'll beat one, one will just release. I played one not too long ago called The Mad One. It was something called The Mad Ones. Anyways, it's an episodic game. The first episode came out. I was like, man, it looks really cool. the second episode still is not out. This is like 8 months later. Like, what the heck, man?
And then
I forgot what the game's about.
Yeah, everybody forgets what it's about, loses interest. Yeah. So, in continuation with this topic, Days Gone came out with a new trailer. If you guys had a chance to check that out, did it change your mind? Are you still on board with Days Gone? I'm kind of iffy on this. Like, the whole zombie genre is kind of getting a little tiresome. The last real zombie game I played was State of Decay 2. It was fun for a while, and I got burned out, man. So did you guys happen to check this trailer out? Did it change your mind? Do you think this game is going to be successful or not? Let's talk about it. Just jump in if you want to say something. If not, we'll, move on.
I checked it out, Salt. And listen, it didn't change my mind. I kind of feel the same way. We've talked about it before. So, I like it. To me personally, there hasn't been a new type of game or genre that's come out to pull me away from the zombie thing. Now, can I sit there and tell you that you shouldn't be tired of it? No, I can't do that because there's been so many zombie games out there. I can understand where you're coming from. You're also talking to somebody that after 9 seasons and has lost pretty much every main character that I gave a shit about is still watching The Walking Dead. So, I like that genre. I don't get tired of it. I'll be honest with you. I immediately downloaded the one-shot, Resident Evil 2 remake. I loved it, and I can't wait to play. I can't believe I'm saying this, but that's a game that I just can't wait to play. So, and that's a game I've played in the past. It's a game that I didn't think I would be that excited about, and here I am excited to play it. And if I could be excited about a game that they've basically fixed the mechanics, they've upped the res, they've put the graphics in quality, the settings are ultra, and it's the same game I played ages ago, then a game like Days Gone, which has the potential to be, like a World War Z type of game, which that's another game that's coming out. Yep. But nonetheless, that same kind of style. And, it's funny, we were kind of just making jabs and poking and fun at Norman Reedus, but if you look at the main character in Days Gone, no, it doesn't resemble him, figure-wise. But the motorcycle, the crossbow, the whole thing, it's kind of Norman Reedus' world in Walking Dead that you're playing. I'm not saying it's the same thing or a correlation. I'm just saying it gives that effect. Short of the game being a technical mistake or a mess, I'm looking forward to it. First of all, listen, I don't play a plethora of games on PlayStation. So I play all the exclusives that they have. And then if they have something spectacular or an event that they actually have that, Xbox doesn't, maybe it'll sway me to go there. So I don't spend a lot of time over there. So when you have a game like this that fits one of my favorite genres, and then it is something that could be something that's a lot of fun, I dig it. But again, I wouldn't sit here on other, I'll sit here, Salt, I'll sit there and sometimes talk you guys or people on the panel into what I like. I'm not going to talk you into it because zombies may for you be played out. But for me, I haven't found. If you guys want to remember what I'm talking about, I'll give you a quick example because I want to hear what the rest of the panel has to say. Everybody was like 3-4 years ago. Everybody's like, "That's it. I've had it with zombies. It's time to turn from zombies to pirates." And I'm like, "Are you guys fucking kidding me?" Pirates are fun. It's great, and this is not a Sea of Thieves jab. It was back when a Black Flag came out. Oh, there it is, folks. We found the new zombies. It's pirates. No, it's not. And that's the thing. So nothing has really come out and taken over zombies. And I think that's why a lot of people like The Last of Us, is because it's not zombies, but it's plague infested. And that's an important thing. And I know it's a different thing, but it adds to the difference in the story. So, there's different elements out there of different folks that like the, I'll use the word apocalypse, right? So maybe it's not zombie that ropes you in, but it's apocalypse because there's a lot of different variables there. There's, of course, there's the plague effect. There's the zombie aspect. There's the human v. human when it's martial law, right? There's a lot of different things that come into effect when you're talking about apocalypse. So if it's apocalypse and it's zombie, I'm still very much into it. But the reason The Last of Us is probably still one of my favorite games, it's in my top 3 of all time, is because it took the apocalypse and went in a different direction. I encourage many other developers who may be listening to do something like that. So that's my take. So I'm still as encouraged by the game.
Awesome. Anybody else? I think you're excited, right?
Oh yeah, I'm super excited. It's a day one buy for me. I've been excited about this game since the first time I saw the trailer of like that mound of zombies just coming at you. Freakers, I guess they call them now, but I don't really give a shit what they're called at the end of the day. I give a shit about how the game plays and how it looks. I watched a trailer. I don't know if it's the one that you're talking about, but I watched one about last week where he gets on a bike and he's actually driving away from this wolf that tries to chase him on the road, and just the lushness of the environment. Sure, does it remind me a little bit of The Last of Us? Absolutely, but you know what? It's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, considered, like Mooch has said, it's one of the best games I think in the past generation. It stands up really well. It's a great game. This one looks like it's a bit more visceral. Like it has some great elements of lots of games. It has that sort of fast paced, very lethal sort of zombies, kind of like you saw in Left 4 Dead, where they're very aggressive and they come at you. Like it just, to me, it looks like an exciting game, one that I'm definitely can't wait to jump into. I'm not going to write it off. Definitely going to give it a try, because I'm going to buy it probably day one anyway. Will it be a groundbreaking game? Will it be a game of the year? Who the hell knows? It might be, as far as some PlayStation fans are concerned, because everything's game of the year with them. But I think it's going to be a solid game. I think the studio is getting close to finishing it up, and I'm definitely on board. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Like you guys said, there was the zombie rush of games. There was the pirate rush of games. You know what I want to see more games to be based off of is like Ragnarok and like Greek mythology type stuff. That stuff is so intriguing, especially if you know the lore of it all. What do you guys think? Am I alone in this, or do you guys agree? Or what else do you guys wish more games would be based off of?
That's a great idea, but we're going to move on to the next topic, which is Hitman 2 developer IO Interactive sets up new studio and teases new franchises. The reason why I'm talking about this is because Xbox, it's been rumored that they are going to acquire more studios. They got that checkbook open. They want to, keep acquiring because they want to make that portfolio deep for Xbox Game Pass. If you guys didn't know, there's been 3 new additions to Xbox Game Pass. We Happy Few by Compulsion Games, Shadow of Mordor, which is the first one, which is amazing, and Saints Row the third. So what do you guys think of IO Interactive? Do you think that would be a potential studio that Microsoft could snatch up? And then, if you guys want to say something real quick about maybe We Happy Few going into Game Pass, Compulsion not really performing that well on their game. I don't know, all that stuff. Let's start off with Titan Drago. What do you think of IO Interactive? Do you think they'd be good potentially to acquire by Microsoft?
Yeah. I mean, I'm up for any studio acquisition, because any studio acquisition will go into Game Pass, and I'm loving that fact. And We Happy Few, like, I think this game struggled because when it first came out, is like, I've heard it's like nothing to like what it's playable like today. And I'm really excited to get into this game, because I've almost bought this game like 5 times over. So coming to Game Pass, hey, perfect for me. Like, what do you think about it? Because there was like a bunch of survival aspects early on, wasn't there? And it was like kind of crippling the gameplay, wasn't it? I heard that a lot. Yeah,
I've heard that it kind of lacks identity. Some people saw and thought the game was going to be one thing, but it ended up being another. The survival aspects don't really fit with the game itself. The stealth mode doesn't pull off stealth as well as it could. Per se.
So that makes sense of why, struggled for sales wise, because, the game comes out and they change their identity after it comes out, so that's got a lot to do with it, I would imagine. But other than going to game, Shadow of Mordor, that game was amazing as well. I beat the crap out of Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah. So they keep adding titles into Game Pass. This topic's kind of lame, so we're gonna move on. Let's talk about Crackdown 3. Okay, this is interesting because there's an article that came out. The wording of it was surprising, honestly. They were talking about awe-inspiring, like the words that they're using. I wasn't expecting to come out of reviews for Crackdown, and specifically the multiplayer. They're talking about the Wrecking Zone just being phenomenal. And it's powered by the Azure cloud. If you guys didn't know, a lot of people have been dogging on this shit for years. Mooch knows all about that, right? The cloud. We've been hearing about the cloud. It's like pie in the sky dream, you know, so that Microsoft's been touting out there. But man, it seems like, because they've talked about in press releases, they just said, hey, we're super excited to bring some new technology to you guys in the near future. And I think that specifically references this cloud, man. I think this cloud technology I think someone was talking about it. They got it up and running within the last, year or so, like fully optimized. So it took them up to the wire, and we know all about these delays and the naysayers, and that Crackdown 3 should be canceled and this and that. But from this review, the way that they're wording it, they're not light on the words here, and it's not someone from Microsoft. It's not like Major Nelson writing an article here, you know what I'm saying? So what do you guys think of the potential here that maybe Crackdown could be a surprise this year? Maybe it could turn around the negative Nancy's, all the naysayers here, because I'm super excited personally about the multiplayer. I want to see new things in video games. I'm all about innovation and new shit. I don't want to just keep playing the same old, right? There's only so many team death matches you can play, you know? You want to see new shit in gaming. You want to see evolution in gaming, and I think that this has potential. What do you guys think?
Totally.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Salt. I mean, to be honest with you, listen, I'm not a Crackdown fan. I've said it a number of times, but okay, that doesn't mean that I'm not willing to give it a shot. And I'll tell you, short of Yobi Drenhook and the Mooch Up, no, shout out to Yobi. What's up, buddy? The thing about it is this. I'm willing to give this game a shot. I think this game's got tremendous potential. It's got a fan base. And like you said, why not try something different? And this game's trying to, and I did read the article actually, Salt. It's flowing with positivity. It's flowing with it. So, when I see something that's from the first letter to the bottom, that's only positive, I also get a little, maybe this guy's a little bit, maybe he's a fan of Crackdown. I don't know at least it's third party, so it's not Microsoft.
Yeah.
It wasn't Larry. But I made the same point. I also question this, Salt. Now, I'll throw the question back to you. Why, if it's this good, is Microsoft not touting it more?
Good question.
And me and you have got this big thing. You're big pro internet, and I'm still holding on. And listen, I love moving forward. I love the future, right? I don't give a shit. I like everything that's moving forward. But the one thing that I still think, because we started the show with the whole Netflix thing, right?
Yep.
And since Netflix Netflix is on all your devices, but a lot of people are still watching Netflix on their TV. Even the commercials. Like, come over and Netflix and chill. Nobody's chilling with their iPhone, okay? So my point being is we're still in front of our TVs. So TVs are still a big thing, and with a TV comes cable. Where's the commercials? Where's the advertising? Where even your stuff, Salt? Where's even the advertising on YouTube? The Crackdown stuff's just not there. And this game's coming out in 4 weeks. You've got Sony doing press releases and video recordings, and Troy Baker feels about Death Stranding, right? And Days Gone. And you've got this great game coming out according to this third party. And I'm excited for it. You're excited for it. And we don't hear nothing coming from the people that are creating it. And that's where I kind of shake my head and I say, either something is really wrong at Microsoft marketing, or the game is not all that. And listen, it'll be a great addition to your Game Pass library. You know what I mean? So I don't know I'm going to kind of kick it back to you and say, what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is just because listen, you guys all know this is it. If everybody on this panel right now, we were all a company, and we had this big beast of a game coming out in 4 weeks, and we knew this thing was going to be killer, would we be this quiet? No way. Because you got to, even if you don't believe in TV advertising, you got to believe in grassroots. You got to start talking about it now.
But that's just it, right? I think the Crackdown hype train is long since sailed and has kind of sunk to the bottom of the ocean, right? I mean, I think they got a good game on their hands for sure. But I mean, it's coming out to Game Pass, and I already get the feeling from the people I've talked to that most people, that's the only way they're willing to try it. I don't get the impression that if you don't have Game Pass, that a lot of people are going out there getting ready to plunk down their 60 or 80 bucks or whichever country you're in, however much it costs. So I don't get that impression. A lot of people are like, yeah, it's right up there day one. But I think a lot of people are Game Passing it. I think there's a lot of people in the chat already saying that, and that's cool. It doesn't matter how you consume it as long as you do. And I think Microsoft gets that. That's how a lot of people are playing Sea of Thieves, and that's why Sea of Thieves right now is still hanging on to a pretty respectable fan base and is a pretty top stream game out there.
Well,
but
Noof, can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
Noof, let me ask you a question about Game Pass versus Netflix, since we make the correlation all the time. I look at it like this. I look at it as Netflix goes out and gets Solo, right? And they go and get Infinity War. And they do those moves because they want you to come in and watch the amazing Netflix first-party movies they're making with big stars, big-time people. I think Game Pass is the opposite. Game Pass is like, hey, we're going to put our first-party games in there like Crackdown 3 and this and that, and then that'll lure in some of the big third-party games we can get in here too. Right. And listen, at the end of the day, maybe it doesn't matter, but it just kind of shows you that Xbox right now currently doesn't have the first-party games that are really roping in the customers. And let me say this much. Here's what I'm tired of hearing from a lot of people. Crackdown 3's got a bad rap. Just release it already. It's over. This game's got no chance. Listen, casuals have no idea what the fuck Crackdown 3 is.
No.
So what I'm saying, right, just like Days Gone, like if you walk up to even a Sony fan, a guy, excuse me, do you have Xbox or PS4? I have a PS4. Are you looking forward to Days Gone? What the fuck is that? That's what they would say, right? So my point being is, what is Sony doing? They're making sure people who have the console know what the game is.
Sure.
Crackdown 3 may be a blemish or a joke behind the scenes to the hardcore, but they don't care. They want to reach the casual. So how do you reach the casual? Advertise. And they're not doing it. Okay? Mikey Barra being like, 22 days left. Tweet. That's not advertising.
Right.
So you need to advertise a game. You've got people talking about the PlayStation thing because it's all over the place. Days Gone will be talked about by April 25th or 26th. But Crackdown is nowhere to be seen. You know?
Yeah,
Aaron Greenberg, tomorrow, Aaron Greenberg's going to lift his feet up, and on the bottom of his new Nikes, it's going to say Crackdown 3 coming soon. Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah.
We don't care.
But do you think it's, they're afraid of over sort of hyping it, because then if they say too much, then you're going to get all that sort of backlash. It's just like, what are you talking about? You know, you're acting like this is the game of the year.
Well, Noof, wait a minute. We just spent the first 5 minutes of this segment saying how great it was from a third-party review. So if it is that great, why aren't we talking about it? Right? That's my question. So if they're not, it's not that great.
Here's my thing with it. Xbox has a lot of haters. Okay, we all know this.
Well, Xbox doesn't help themselves, Titan. That's my problem.
True. And to answer your question, Mooch, Xbox need a surprise banger. You know what? To shut up those haters.
Absolutely.
And you know what? That same Kazu you were talking about earlier. Hey, you got a PlayStation? Yeah. You like You ask him if you like Microsoft? No, I hate it.
Exactly.
Why?
Yes.
I don't know. I just don't like it. I got a PlayStation.
Well, give them a reason to like it.
Good point. And to answer your question further, and I gotta answer your question with a question. It's like they need a surprise banger. Like maybe that's what they're going for. Is that what they're going for? I mean, how long has it been since Xbox has promoted anything but Game Pass? I mean, that's all I've seen.
Well, here's the thing, though, Titan. To answer your question, though, you did ask a legit question. A surprise banger, right?
Yeah.
I'm all for it, and I do think they need that. But here's the thing. You know the gaming industry. Everybody that's listening to this show and everybody on this panel has been talking about this long enough. You can't do that in this business. Look at ask Salt. Salt did videos on it, okay? They're on his channel. Check it out. Salt did videos being like, hey, Ashen came out. Does anybody know if I don't tell you? Right? Like, Ashen's a good game. Salt gave it a fucking 9.5, okay? Yep. I mean, my point being is I got my information from Salt.
Exactly. Xbox truly relies on the grapevine, don't they?
And it doesn't work.
It's
sick.
I mean, they're doing that because It's just not there. They'll advertise stuff when they want to. Like Game Pass,
Right.
I see that on everywhere. I see it
Yeah, that's the only thing.
everywhere. Like, well, that's their focal point right now. So
their
what
shtick, yeah.
what Mooch is saying is, if they wanted to put a focal point on Crackdown 3, they would. Sea of Thieves, they were shooting fucking dudes out of cannons and doing everything they could to get Sea of Thieves out there. I saw it on
Right.
on movie, you know,
Tampa
before
Bay
movies
Buccaneers
and
had
all
it.
this stuff. You know, so.
Yeah.
Crackdown 3 obviously is just not getting the money. Maybe it's because it was delayed so much, and they're just trying to see how the crowd will react right now, and it doesn't really matter at this point because it's dropping in Game Pass. So
Look,
I don't know.
hype is only good when something lives up to the hype. That's the thing, right?
Yeah,
Because I'll use a euphemism here, guys. Plug your ears if you got sensitive ears going on here, but I'm going to use a euphemism, and Mooch has already braced himself here. It's like that girl that you like, back in school. She keeps telling you, "Yeah, my pussy smells like roses," and the moment you get with her, it smells like fish. Not only do you not touch it, but your friends don't touch it either. That's how it goes.
No, chill,
No,
chill. I didn't brace myself. I got my Beastie Boys on.
Mooch said, "I'll eat anything."
That's why we got Game Pass. So
Lord.
we don't
For that.
eat anything.
No,
I'm dead.
I don't know. I mean, and Nick, let me, and it's funny it's the first time I got a chance to hang out with Nick, who's an awesome dude. Nick, what do you think about this? I mean, like, do you think that, like, are you psyched for? And I'm asking because I don't know your opinion on it. What are you psyched for Crackdown 3?
No.
And
I'm really not, dude.
But Nick, why aren't you?
Well, I mean, I was never a fan of Crackdown to begin with, but
Yeah, me neither.
But we've heard about Crackdown for so long, and now it's finally coming out. The only saving grace for Crackdown for me is it's on Game Pass. That's it. If it wasn't on Game Pass, I wouldn't pay it any attention. But since it's on Game Pass and I have Game Pass and I'm able to play it, that's why I'm playing.
Okay, so Nick, let me ask you a question. This is something me and Salt, we kind of go back and forth on, and I think at the end of the day, if me and Salt we're sitting there, we're drinking beers, and we're really talking about it, I think at the end of the day, he would go, you know what, Mooch, I'll be honest with you. Long run, I'm with you. Here's my thing. Hear what Nick just said. Nick just said, if it's not in Game Pass, I don't want it. And my thing is, if I'm a dev, I'm destroyed.
Yeah.
Because that right there tells me that you don't, it's literally like when you were a kid, you got that Easter basket, right? Nobody wanted the jelly beans on the bottom. You wanted the Cadbury egg. Okay, you wanted that full freaking bunny that was full milk chocolate. The problem is
Not the hollow one.
That's right. Even though as I grew older, the hollow one got better. Listen.
Yeah, the hollow one was. Yeah,
it did get better, right? Now I want the hollow one. Okay, I'm glad we brought that up. But I do. I want the hollow one. But I got news for you guys. If you guys can't understand what we're saying, Crackdown 3 and Game Pass, and you say, "Well, I'll play it there, Mooch. I'll get my $9.99 worth." You're eating the jelly beans, buddy. Okay? That's the jelly beans underneath the fake grass in the basket. And that's the problem. That is a problem. So for people going, that was Microsoft's intent. Your intent that the sales pitch was to be the jelly bean people forgot at the bottom of the fake grass? Well, I got news for you. If I'm in that CEO boardroom, you're fired. So my point being is this isn't good enough. And that's my whole shtick. And I'm right there with Nick. I mean, that's the thing, and I'm not a Crackdown fan, so you guys can all discredit my opinion. That's fair, but I want to like it because you know what? It looks like it's a tremendous amount of fun. But when Microsoft has these people, and that's why and Saul, we've talked about this on Xbox Nation. That's why when everybody gets really excited about the grasping, the grabbing of these new companies, I'm excited. But I'm a little apprehensive. I'm a little bit on caution here because I feel that the kumbaya nonsense that goes on at Redmond, you have to have somebody that's a good boss. I don't know how many people that are listening or on the panel ever worked in a restaurant, but if you've ever worked at a successful one, the owner was an asshole. Okay, but he was an asshole because he had to be. And the problem sometimes when you got Microsoft, make whatever you want. We don't care. Who cares? Deadlines, smedlines. Who needs it? And that's the problem with this. I feel like you have a game that's their baby. This is their baby. And you got no advertising. No one's talking about it. And you got me and Salty and Nick and Noof and Titan have done more advertising in the past 20 minutes. Where's our cut? Then our goddamn cut.
Where's our
Who the hell's yelling on a different guy's podcast? Get him off your show right now.
Oh god.
Oh, sorry about that song.
That's funny.
I apologize.
This shit's funny, dude.
And then, slight addition to that, this game is absolutely unique. This is something you want as a company, as anybody. If you have something no one else has, advertise the hell out of it. This is something they need to push to the casuals too, not just the hardcore like us. Like the casuals need to know that this game is 100% fully destructive. They need to show gameplay. They need to show They need to show this off, man. And they're just
I get what you guys are saying, right? They need to show this off to the casuals. But okay, but let's just think. They're only catering to their base, which is anybody who owns an Xbox or uses Xbox Live, whether that's to play Call of Duty, Madden, or whatever they use their Xbox for, right? What have they been advertising to anybody who has an Xbox Live? Game Pass. They have been shoving Game Pass in our face. You cannot even open up your Xbox home screen. Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass. Hey, go to Game Pass. It's over here. Hey, click on this little box. It's gonna take you to Game Pass. Check out all the games you got in Game Pass. Like that's what they're driving home. And I maybe that's their plan here is the fact that with Crackdown, maybe they're just like, look, it's going to Game Pass. We don't need to push this game. We just need to go ahead and just keep pushing the fact that we got this Game Pass. That's what I think is going on. I think. Because they already figured out, okay, we have what we have now. It's not going to get any bigger until next generation. Let's just push what we know, which is going to be Game Pass. Crackdown's going to fall into that. They're going to play it anyway if they have it, and then that's it. I've maybe seen one or two advertisements for Crackdown on YouTube when I click on somebody's ad. That's it, or somebody's channel. That's it. That's the only place I've seen is YouTube. Not on TV like I've seen all these other, during football season, I saw hella PlayStation ads for all their stuff. I never saw hardly any Xbox ads, but I've seen Crackdown ads on YouTube. That's it.
Yeah,
so they must be pushing out just Game Pass, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens with Crackdown. I just thought it was cool to hear about that. Let's move on to the meat and potatoes of the meal. Mortal Kombat 11 live reveal today.
Did you watch it?
Amazing, watch it? Dude. Like,
watch it.
Insane. Just fluid. The graphics, insane. Did I say insane? Amazing game. The fatality montage, my God. Faces are ripping off. Blood's everywhere. Yes. One of the things that stood out to me when I watched this, it's like once you get a good steak, right? You get a good porterhouse. If you go back and get that shitty overcooked steak, it really stands out. So like, I'm not saying that Mortal Kombat X is shitty, but the graphics just aren't up to par when you compare these two. It's like it's insane, guys. I don't know what to say here. This game is gonna do incredible in the fighting community. I'm not a big fighting game genre aficionado, but I've said this on record. Mortal Kombat I was playing that shit on floppy disks back in the day. Okay, don't at me on this shit. I was ripping spines out on my dad's computer on the floppy disk. If you guys know what it is, I think some of you guys probably don't know what that is, but you can Google it. But Mortal Kombat is just it's the number one for me, man. Super Smash Brothers is insane, but man, Mortal Kombat, they just take it up to the next level. Did you guys see this reveal, and what do you guys think of this?
I watched it.
Let's hear about it, man.
And I mean, dude, like, here's the deal. I bought Mortal Kombat X and I played it for a little bit, and then I kind of put it down and sold it back to GameStop, and that was it, right? And then I played other fighters, but like you said, Mortal Kombat's always been that fighter that I can play. That and Soul Calibur. Like, those are the only two that I go back to. Yep. And, I was like, okay, Mortal Kombat 11's coming out. Cool, whatever. We saw it at the Game Awards, and they're going to do this reveal. All right, whatever. And I just happened to watch Player S since he was streaming it. So I just figured, okay, I'll watch it since he's live streaming it. And, bruh, the game looks lit. I'm not even kidding. This game looks ridiculous. Yeah. I'm going to have to buy this game now because, I mean, the graphics, the fatality, the gameplay that they showed, the fighting was so fluid. The combos, the way everything came together, there wasn't anything funny about it that it seemed. Now, of course, they are giving us a presentation. They could have cleaned up whatever they could have, but what we saw so far, clean. The what they're doing with the story gonna be awesome. The character developments, they're adding some new characters, they're bringing back Scarlet. That's gonna be dope. The only thing I need them to do is bring back Ermac, and everybody keeps talking about Noob Saibot, but y'all can take that Noob Saibot and take that somewhere else.
Hey, Noob Saibot was legit.
Don't need Noob Saibot, but you can if you bring back Ermac, I'll take it. But nah, not this noob dude. No, take that somewhere else.
Yeah, I gotta say, you guys know this. Def Jam Bam's his ears are gonna perk up when he hears this one. I give him a lot of shit. Like, I left Fighters a long time ago, man. And I did the same thing Nick just said. I ended up going out and I gifted Mortal Kombat X, and I played it for a couple minutes. I was like, hey, listen, Mortal Kombat is the one that keeps me coming home, man. If someone did a poll today, I don't know if it was Salty or somebody did one that said Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, man. It's Mortal Kombat all day. And this game, I got news for you. This is a Mooch exclusive, folks. Okay, you're getting it on the song. I am buying this game day one. I will be trying to mooch it, but nonetheless, this is a day one for Mooch one way or the other, because this is something I wanted. Here's the thing. They are moving forward and progressing the game, and they're adding all these nuances that make the game that much better. Mm-hmm. But I felt like, yes, there's a couple things where they did the bone crunching thing again, but at the same time, they did it the right way. So we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I really, really like the way that they take the art design and they're moving that destroying of the opponent in a different way, but more traditional, where it's the blood and the guts, and not just the stupid effect on the vertebra breaking, So my point being is, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're doing more of the facial animation, they're doing more, right? And that shit is like, think about this, folks. Everyone listening right now. Think about the last time, or not the last time. Think about the first time you played Mortal Kombat. When you saw the difference, when they took the fighting genre and took it to the next level. This is not necessarily that I'm going to say it's the next level, but they took something they already had that was great, and they put a polish on it. And it is absolutely a marvel to watch. Listen, I got news for you guys. Mark my words. With the way that Mixer and Twitch are getting people to sit in the seats and watch,
it'd be huge.
I will watch people who are amazing at this game on Twitch and Mixer. I will watch you, because you know what? I want to see things that I need to learn, and I want to get better at this game. And that's what I'm saying. So this was an unbelievable reveal, and I'm pumped for it. So I'll be there day one. I'll tell you right now.
So real quick, the things that stood out to me were, all right, so first of all, no one gives a shit that what's her name is Sonya now. First of all, the character model looks like dog shit. I can't even tell
it wasn't even her. It was, no, she just did the voice acting.
Okay. I was like, if that's her face, you guys need to go back to the drawing board, because that shit doesn't look like her.
She just did the voice. They didn't even model her.
Ronda Rousey. Like, no one gives a shit. So yeah, like the fatality stood out to me, the graphics, the smooth gameplay, the characters, Baraka's in there eating brains and shit, the story, dope as fuck. But I put this out on Twitter. Supposedly this game's supposed to be coming out on the Switch. Now, how the hell is this game coming out on the Switch, Nick?
Whoa, chill. First of all, rumor is they've already delayed the damn game.
Okay.
So and I made a joke in the chat. I was like, "Yo, they didn't delay it because it wasn't capable. They delayed it because Nintendo was like, no, we need to censor this game ASAP for the Switch. It was ridiculously violent and ridiculously bloody, and it was crazy. And I mean, I believe it can still come to the Switch, but the rumors are going to delay that version, and they didn't even say anything about it, so people are kind of freaking out already. But it's whatever. Moot said something funny that he was like, "Imagine the first time, going back to the first time you ever played a Mortal Kombat game," and that was when I was like 6 or 7. And my mom pretty much ripped that thing out of my Super Nintendo and burned it. So guess what, Mom? Can't burn it this time. I'll be playing this game all the time, dude. Oh my gosh.
Yo, man, I played the original Mortal Kombat, like you said, we were saying on SNES. I played that till my fingers bled, man. That game, I was up all night, 24 hours. That was, man, I'll tell you, young folks don't even know that the craziness that we did when we were playing those games as kids, man. We played that controller was not even it was not made for that kind of game, and we did it anyways. Because if you look at that D-pad, right, you had to do the down right that 90 degree just to even get like that, get over here. You had to like work your ass off. And when you did that shit, like you did that for 12 hours, your fingers were hurting. But my point being is that Mortal Kombat is and always has been, I think, a great seller. Now what we saw today, this is Pulitzer stuff, guys. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm the first one that gives a lot of people a lot of crap.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not into the fighting games. I'm really not. And I have Smash Brothers Ultimate. I have all that stuff, and it's fun. But it's like I could play that for a couple rounds with the family and stuff, and then it's like, all right, I'm done with this. This is a game that brought me back. So yeah, what is the official release date? Salt, do you have one?
April 23rd, I believe.
Something like that, Jim.
Okay, so it's coming out a couple days before Days Gone. That's interesting. So April's become.
Yeah.
This is what the gaming. You know what's funny, guys? Everybody on the panel, go ahead and take a bow. Go ahead and take a bow, folks. Thanks to everybody in the panel. Thanks to everybody in the chat, because the gaming companies didn't come up with this. We did. We've been saying this for years. I know I have been, and I'll give everybody credit for it. I won't take credit for it. We've all been saying this. We game 12 months a year. There's no reason to jam 15 games between October 1st and November 15th. Yeah. So if you could please, if anybody's listening, start to put games out throughout the year. We will still buy them. Like, what? Who the hell on this panel is like, you know what? Outstanding reveal, Salt. Outstanding. But it's a little before Halloween, and I can't handle it. Nobody says that. So why would you, right? So April's got a couple of great games. March has got a couple of great games. February's stacked. That's what we want to see. Now, if we could actually populate June and July.
Thank you. If you can populate those two, I will be down, man. I will be down for it.
I'll give Cletus a holler. He can populate anything. Chill. And I'm super excited for the game. And for one thing that we haven't realized is that unlike 10, which was still sort of built from the ground up for the last gen consoles, this is the first true sort of next gen Xbox One, PlayStation 4 iteration of Mortal Kombat. And boy, I mean, how stale and stagnant has Street Fighter gotten? They're still on number 5. Mortal Kombat's kicking ass at number 11 already.
Street
and
Fighter
some of those still animations.
Alpha Duda.
Well, yeah, that's right. They make 5, Super 5, Super Duper 5,
Super Duper 5,
Super Duper Ultra 5, Ultra. Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous.
Come on, Capcom.
Turbo.
Okay. So, but I mean, those animations too, the fluid gameplay, the animations, like the guy hits the putty in the back of the head and his face literally flies off. I mean, holy hell, man. I'm with Mooch. I gave up on fighters years ago. I was never one. I was never good at them. 2, I always found them very shallow. You do the ladder tournament, you beat this guy, you beat that guy. Then you pretty much kicking ass until you get to the last guy, and then he kicks your ass for about 5 hours.
Yeah.
Stupid horse in Mortal Kombat 3.
But I'm excited for this one. I can't wait to pick it up. And my God, I don't know if anybody was planning to talk about it, but did you guys see the freaking collector's edition? I think it's like $300, and it comes with that amazing scorpion helmet or mask or whatever. Holy shit!
It looks dope. It looks.
How about all those cosplays that was there?
How much?
That was tight.
Did anybody see the dude? Did anybody see the dude katana?
No. I saw the chicas that were dressed up as Scorpion, man. That shit was hot.
Go back whenever they interviewed the New Day from WWE. The New Day was there, and that dude was saying Shung and Kofi and the dudes from the New Day from WWE. They brought out a katana that was behind them, straight up dude, and you can see his package just sitting there in the katana outfit. Oh my gosh, dude, like
that was the highlight for Nick there.
What's funny about it was the live stream that I was watching it in, the chat went from being like a little bit from a time and it went completely lit of dude shit. Oh man.
You know what? I hope someone
a different fan.
Crazy Greeter says what? Yeah, dude, go back and watch it.
Go ahead, Titan.
Yeah, Titan, what's up?
I hope someone from the development team is listening to this podcast, because you know what? Mooch, you're right. I've heard you say it before, and like the game looks great. I bought Mortal Kombat 10. It was awesome. They had a lot of cool, like the graveyard or whatever. That's really cool addition and stuff. But if I was developing this, I would take the bone crunching stuff and all that to the next level. Okay,
here we go.
The real next level. What I mean by that, if you crack, someone's chest open, limit their move list. If you're Scorpion and someone breaks your arm, sorry, no more
Get over here.
Sorry, you can't do it.
I thought
Titan, chill, man. That's not what we play Mortal Kombat.
I thought
play for
take it to
realistic
the next
gameplay,
level.
dude. I just want the blood.
I honestly thought
I want to beat my buddies.
Beat your what?
I was like, what?
Try not to cuss.
I honestly thought Titan was gonna be like, all right, when you crack his chest open, you feel it in real life. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
No.
You kick a guy in the balls and he sits there for the next 30 seconds in the match, crawling across the ground.
Taking games to the next level. It's like, holy shit.
You know, it's
to
funny
put
though,
on a
but
bodysuit that vibrates wherever you get hit.
I think Titan's onto something, and I watched the 15-minute that they did a playthrough where people were actually playing the matches. I think you guys saw this as well. There are characters that have special powers that do certain things in this game that are different. So, like when you get your opponent down to a weakest level, they can't get like a max fight or max power back at you or something. Like there's things that they put in this game where what you're saying, Titan, is kind of right. It is a start. It's a start. It's not as
It's a start.
like it's not as wild as you're saying, but it is a start to where if you knock the opponent to a certain level, they can't do something. And then there's another character. They said, and again, this is all hearsay, folks. So don't take it with a grain of salt. But when they were playing the match, they said, well, when you're using this character, they can actually control. Sometimes when you get the power up, you can control the time. So that means the time of the match may be extended or shortened. I don't know. But there's things in there they're adding, and that's what I'm saying. They're evolving the game, guys. It's evolving the game. But listen, that's all great. But I'm more interested in the simple things, the facial animations, the deaths, right? All that stuff. That's the stuff I'm looking forward to. The gore, like bring that stuff to a new level, and I'm content. If you do other stuff on top of that, shit, that's just on top. That's candy on top. I'll take it. Yeah, but this game's getting better and better, Salt.
Yeah, we're nearing the end of this generation, and we're truly hitting the stride graphically. We're seeing things in these games like this is just a showpiece as well for graphical fidelity, and you're talking about animations and everything, man. You list all these games that you've seen towards the end of this generation: God of War, Forza Horizon 4. The list goes on. So once you hit the tail end of the generation, that's the awesome time for graphics. So super excited to see these games come out. I saw Metro gameplay. Whew, looking crispy. We got Anthem coming out, man. If you guys are excited and hyped about Mortal Kombat 11, let us know. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe for future content. But that's it for all of our topics. We had a hell of a time tonight, guys. Awesome. That's what we love to do here on the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. We just love to yuck it up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, Mooch, it's always a blast hanging out, man. Talking games. I'm glad you could hang out with us tonight. Where can people find you, my dude?
Yeah, man. Listen, I'll tell you, you did a great little outro there. I will say this much real quick. My level over the past week, I've watched some videos. Anthem is rising, folks, by the way. Anthem is definitely on the rise. Yep. I got to say, that was on my radar, but now it is definitely something I'm focusing on. But anyways, that being said, Saul, thanks for having me, buddy. We do a lot of work together. It's a lot of fun. Like you say, we get here, we have a blast. And tonight was one of the nights where we all just kind of got around the campfire and got on the same page. But there's some great times that me and Salt see a little different of opinion. And I got news for you. Those are just as much fun for me and him to go back and forth. So it's great. Salt, thanks for having me on the show. Awesome to actually meet Nick. Didn't get a chance to hang out with him before. We'll have to get him on Crossfire too in the future. Oh, yeah. Guys, awesome panel. Titan I've gamed with. Noof I've known since the beginning. You can find me on Crossfire tomorrow night, guys. 7 p.m. Eastern time. I like to call it the Lord's time. Yeah, we'll be over there. There's not a lot of East Coast representation in this gaming world. I try to hold the flag up over here. We're getting a lot of snow this weekend, so it'll be a great excuse to game and shovel.
Oh yeah.
Nonetheless, so we got that. Then we got M&C show will be on Crap's channel on 11 o'clock. Oh, is it 11 Eastern? Yeah, absolutely. 11 a.m. Eastern time Sunday on Crap's channel. Check it out. It'll be a great Mooch and Crap weekend. Guys, good times. Thanks for having me again, Salt. Awesome night.
Yeah, make sure I'll put the information in the description for all that stuff. So make sure you guys subscribe if you're not to Mooch. He's one of the best that does it on YouTube here. So he's a good friend, and I'm glad he could take some time out of his life to join us. Let's get to our panel members for sure. Nintendo Direct, let everybody know where they could find you, my guy.
You can find me youtube.com/Nintendo Direct, Twitch, Nintendo Direct, and Twitter, Nintendo Direct. All 3 platforms. Hop over there. Go to the channel if you like what you see. Hit that subscribe button, all that good stuff. But more so, go follow me on Twitter because we do a lot of crap talking on Twitter. It's great.
Right. We love the Twitters. Boom, boom, kaboom. Where can they find you?
You guys know where to find me. Always in the gutter. Noof Nukem on Xbox. Noof Nukem 76 on the PlayStation Network. Let's go play some games because that's ultimately what it's all about.
Yes.
Best decision I've already made of 2019 was coming back to the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. So good to be here. This was a fantastic show. This panel was lit. Everybody was just ready to go tonight, and I love that. Great topics too. That's fantastic. Chat's been awesome. Salty, I think tonight. I mean, you did well over 100 people in here tonight for most of the night. That's fantastic. Great hosting as always. Good stuff. And just a couple little tidbits. Yes, the Game Dosage podcast that I was running with Glitcher on Monday nights. We're putting that one to bed for a little while. We will come back to it probably in the future. So never say never. We're just going to see what's happening. I don't want to get into it. Long story. Blah blah blah. But But I do have something exciting to also announce coming on Tuesday nights. Instead of goofing with Noof, I'm restructuring that little podcast, and I'm going to be hanging out with a really cool lady chick. You guys and gals may know her as Primal Eve, the snail trail herself. It's going to be bringing her humor over to mine, and we're going to call the podcast Gaming After Dark with Noof Nukem and Primal Eve. So that'll be Tuesday nights, and we're going to get that going probably in February. So check that out. But that's about it for me, man. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you online.
Titan Drago, where can people find you?
Everything at Titan Drago, everybody. I just put out a new video recently, and a lot of people in the chat let me know that you saw it. I got a question for the chat. So how was the volume level tonight, everybody? Hope you enjoyed it.
You guys still here?
Yeah. Can you still hear?
Yeah, can you still hear?
As Nintendo Direct pointed out earlier, it's like, I can bring the topics back to Sony just as fast as Sony guys can move the goalposts. So they move the goalposts, I move the limelight. It's kind of a win-win for us. So we all have fun doing it. And as always, everybody, let's bring the common back to sense.
It's great. Bobcat in the building. That's a good way to end the show. We had a blast. Thanks for being here. If you're new, like I said, make sure to subscribe. Hit the bell icon because YouTube loves to not give notifications out. So anyway, that's going to do it for us. We're going to get to gaming. You guys should too. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week on the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. See ya.